We are live. Hello everyone, I'm Marcia, and today's interview will be with the greatest Andrada Popa from Romania. So, Andrada is coming anytime. I'm waiting for her. Hey Truta! Let's wait for our big star. I'm super excited. Kiss, Truta. Thank you. So, where is she? Let's see if. Yeah. I already sent the request.
I'm
Hello!
here.
Hello,
I'm so
Andrada.
bad.
How are
I'm
you?
so bad at this whole Instagram live thing. I was like, what am I pressing? So yeah, I'm glad that I made it. I'm here. We're good.
Yes, it's been a long time for me too. So, you're our second guest of the season.
Oh, nice. Who was the first one? Was it one of the contestants or someone else?
From Romania, you're the first, but we
Oh,
had
good.
Raum from Supernova, the Latvian selection, yesterday. So,
Oh, nice.
and
I haven't listened to those ones. I haven't actually got to, you know, to listen to everyone's songs throughout the selection yet. So I kind of
yeah,
focused on our selection so far. So don't hate me.
we don't. Andrada, first of all, thank you so much for accept our invitation. It's
Thank you for
a big honor to us because we are a small project, but we are ambitious and we like big names like yours. So, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It's nice to, get out here and speak about Eurovision for
Yeah.
everyone to know what everything's about. So yeah, thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So, Andrada, my first question is always at what point in your life did you know that you wanted to make music your profession? But I'm going to ask you the question in a different way and also addressing another topic.
Okay,
So,
cool.
you represented Romania at Junior Eurovision when
Yeah.
you were very young, right? Was it then with that experience that you knew, or it was later on?
It was actually earlier than that. So I
Okay,
think
tell us.
everyone kind of knows this story. Like if anyone's been on any of the interviews that I've done before, it's like the infamous story of Anjara going on holiday with her family. So the way it started was I went to Turkey with my mom and dad and my brother, and I still think he hates me for it. I've been singing like the whole way through in the car, just like singing and singing. Don't ask me what I was singing because I didn't even like I have no idea. I was just like making noises. And then my mom said, I think she can sing. Like she has some type of potential. Like I think she could sing. So then when I went to school, so I was about 7, and when I went to school, she asked my teacher, she said, do you think like she would be good at this? And then she said, yeah, I think she's got potential. So then that's when I started like taking singing lessons, and I went to like the small competitions and then like the bigger ones. So Eurovision actually came about I'm not sure, like maybe 2 years into me already starting with all of
Okay.
this. And then from Eurovision, came other contests. And then from those came La La Band, if you ever heard of that or anything.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
So that's kind of how the journey started. But Eurovision wasn't the beginning point, but it was probably the moment when I realized, okay, I guess this is my life now. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah. About Junior Eurovision, how did it feel to have stepped onto a Eurovision stage? So, what memories do you have from that experience?
Oh, I wish I had. So at my parents' house, I have my journal. I found it a few months ago. I kept the journal of me going to Eurovision, and I found it a few months ago and I looked through it and I had everything written down. What I can remember is I really, really liked when we went. So it was in Cyprus where we went, and we went to do like the flag parade. So
Yeah.
you would go with like the Romanian flag and you would just like wave it around, and people would obviously like get to do that with theirs. And then we had like little parties every evening. I mean, obviously we were children. It wasn't, it was like a small type of party, but yeah, you would get to like talk to everyone, and you would get to know other cultures and countries. And we had all these like little competitions like throughout the week before the contest. Like you would get to get together with other countries and other people to do these quests, and it was not singing, it was just actual quests within the town, which was really fun. And also what I remember from that, it was quite traumatic. So they turned on the aircon in the room the night before the last rehearsal, and I got really, really ill because from aircon is just like goodbye. Like you know, you turn on the aircon and I'm done.
Yes.
So it turned on at night. And when I woke up, I had like the worst headache. I had a sore throat. I could barely, like, I was just walking around like a zombie. I threw up like 3 times, and I was thinking, oh God, oh God, oh God, what am I gonna do? And then eventually I was lucky that with, you know, like help and pills and all of this, like I managed to be okay for the final. But yeah, it was quite scary. So that's what I remember. I remember the flag parade. I remember the show. I remember being ill, and I remember it being really, really hot. That's like my collection from 15 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let me just say to our audience that you guys can and should make your own questions to Andrade. I'll read all them later.
Trying to read now as well, like who was coming on.
They're saying hi to you.
Someone says they have a question, so I'm waiting for it to show.
Yeah. So people, don't be shy. Come on, take your questions. Okay. Andrade, you moved to London in 2016 to study musical theater.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think in Romania you wouldn't have the same opportunities?
I think first off, we don't have musical theater in Romania. So that was kind of the reason why I chose to go to London. It's because when I did the series and the band that I was in, wait, I'm just trying to like actually be able to see you. Okay. So when I was in the band and in the series that I was in, obviously it was singing, it was dancing, and it was acting involved all at once. So then when that finished, I wanted to pursue that moving forward, but there was no option for me to do it here. It was either just singing or just dancing, which was never like my #1 option, or just acting. So I was like, how do I get to do everything? I'm the type of person that's like, I want to do everything. So I was like, how do I do everything? And that's when I decided that the best place to go and do that is in London. So I went to do musical theater. That's why I chose it that way. So yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, in terms of those types of opportunities, I do think that it is a bigger place. There are more opportunities. It is also harder, I must admit. But in terms of once you get into it and once you get like into their database, to say so, I would say that, yeah, eventually once you're there, you're in. But it's the same way in Romania. It's like once you're in, you're in. But yeah, the opportunities are probably not as many as you would get over there. So.
And I believe it opened a lot of doors to you because you had a lot of your songs were in TV shows, right? So
yeah, so I mean, yeah, I got really lucky. It was actually I was working with someone who was also working with all these like production companies. So he asked me, we were working on one of my songs, and he said, oh, Andrea, like I really need some help. Could you help me out with the song that I need for an ad? And at the time, I didn't really know like the weight of it. I just kind of said, yeah, sure, I'll help you out. You know, you help me out, I help you out. And then I mean, not saying that I got lucky. Obviously, I tried to do a really good job, but I got lucky in the sense that they really liked that project. So then from there on, someone else contacted me, and then from there on, someone else contacted me, and then I just kind of started working with them. And then they would call me being like, hey, you know that song that we did? It's on Love Island. And I was like, oh, okay,
yeah,
I really like the show, but sounds kind of cool. And then, you know, someone messaged me being like, do you know that song that we did like a few months ago? It's on like Selling Sunset. And I said, haven't watched that either, but that sounds really good. So I was quite lucky to get some like really good placements with the songs that I've done with the companies. So yeah, I'm really happy. And I still work with them, obviously. Right now I'm focusing on Eurovision and everything else, but whenever a project comes in and they give me about 2 days to do it, I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll stay up tonight. Let's get it done. So yeah, but it's quite fun. I really love songwriting, and I love working for these things. So yeah, it's quite challenging.
People you can reach a more public, you know. So,
Yeah, of
a lot
course.
of people can listen to your songs just by watching some TV show. So that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have listening to all of your songs. I was driving into home today, and I would like having your playlist on my Spotify.
Okay, good.
They are all amazing, by the way, and I'm not saying this because I'm talking to you. That's what I really think. So
Thank you.
let's talk about Selecția Națională. I don't know if I'm spelling it
Oh yeah,
right.
you're right. You're right. Yeah.
So what about No Time for Me? Why such a different style from what you usually do? Why a ballad for Eurovision?
I think the reason why I did it this way was because when I went to the studio and I started writing the song, I thought, okay, what am I writing about? Like, where is my head at? What's going through Andrada's head? And I thought, I'm gonna write about what I know, and I'm gonna write about what I feel. And yes, of course, I could have written like a really upbeat pop song. I could have done that. But I kind of feel like the songs that stuck with me throughout the years with Eurovision, even though I have I have favorite moments that were really upbeat and like dancey and everything. But I think the moments that stuck with me were moments that were actually quite heartfelt and thoughtful, and they had like a really powerful message. And I sat down with myself and I thought, okay, what do I feel? What do I want to write about? And that's kind of how I came up with it, because I was thinking about the things that I'm going through and the feelings that I get and the worries and the overthinking, and, you know, that age where you want to be in a million places at once, but you can't do everything because you only have 24 hours in a day. So then I started writing down all these thoughts, and at one point it kind of felt like this song was like therapy. So I was thinking, okay, this to me felt like more than just a song, and I felt like the message, if you like actually listen to it, it's something that everyone goes through at one point in their life. Like, yes, there might be people out there that right now might not necessarily engage with the message if they haven't gone through it, but I think at one point in your life you will go through that. You will have to leave people behind. You will have to choose between this and that. You will have to decide who you want to be. You're gonna decide who you want to be with. You'll decide where you want to live. Like, there are so many choices that have to be made. And I feel like, especially at this age, people expect you to already have all the answers and know everything that you want to do. And then there's like so much pressure with that, you know, like there's so much pressure with people. Like, how many times have you gone to like a Christmas dinner or like a family gathering, and everyone's asking you about, oh, so what's the next thing that you're going to be doing? What's next on the list? You know, when are you getting married? When are you having kids? Like, where do you want to live? What do you want to do? Even when I was in university, people kept asking me like, so moving forward, do you want to do musical theater? Do you want to do TV? Do you want to do acting? Do you want to do singing? And I was thinking, I want to do all of them. And I remember one of my teachers was like, Andrada, you can't do all of them. And I said, no, listen, I can do all of it. And I think that's what the song kind of focuses on the fact that sometimes you get home and you think, what am I doing? Like, what is happening? I have to make all these decisions. And then towards the song, it's actually like, you know, it's like this open letter to myself and to everyone else who probably feels that way. But at the end of the song, it's kind of just taking a step back and being a bit objective and thinking, okay, well, you do have time, but you spend all of that time worrying about not having time, and then you're like driving yourself insane. So that's kind of what the song tries to like talk about. It's like, hey, all of these worries, all of these anxieties, all of these thoughts that you have and the things that you think, sometimes is just your anxiety lying to you and you being your own worst enemy. I'm reading a book now that's about like self-sabotaging, and I was reading through it and I was like, I don't want to be called out like this. So yeah, it's like sometimes the more you think, the worse it gets. So yeah, the last chorus of the song, I guess, is the right message, which says, maybe there is time for me and for you and for everyone. And you should just spend it on things that matter and things that, you know, you're passionate about, and spend it on anything but worrying about the time not being enough. So yeah, I guess that's why I wrote the song. I don't know. It was just what I had in my mind at the time, and I still do. And I think it represents this stage of my life. And I chose to write about what I know rather than what I don't, I guess. So yeah. I see some questions coming in. I feel really bad because I feel like I'm a people pleaser.
No, we are not ignoring you guys. I will do these questions later. I just have one more question to Andrade.
Oh,
but yeah, I agree with you.
I'm trying to. Okay, there we go.
The song really resonates with me because I also have anxiety. And I was like, when I first listened to it, I was like, oh, another ballad. But then I started to pay attention to the lyrics, and I was like, whoa. If you see my reaction on the feed.
Yeah, I saw a reaction video and I thought, I don't speak Portuguese. Like, I know, I spent a month in Portugal, so I know some words.
Really? That's a
yeah.
fun. Where?
Yeah, I went to the Azores, so I spent a month in the Azores and I've spent a week in Lisbon. But my Portuguese isn't that good, so I kind of just like watched their video, and all I got from it was, oh, she sounds like Celine Dion. And I was like, well, that must be a compliment. Sounds good to me. I was like, whatever else she said, doesn't matter.
Like, you sounded so soft. Then I listened to your discography and I was like, whoa, so much upbeat songs. Like, who's this girl? But they are all amazing. Both of the styles.
Both sides of me. I'm like Hannah Montana. It's like best of both worlds.
Okay, Andrade, I have one more question. Sure. And then I'll give the word to our audience. So what's your goal with this participation? Do you think about results? You just want to do your thing? Tell me.
So I think, I'm going to be honest, like one of my main reasons for joining was because, you know, the UK is hosting this year. So to me, the UK is like,
your home.
My second home in a way. It's like my, you know, my adoptive country. So I think the reason, because I've been told for many years to go and participate. And I kept saying, like, I'm not sure, you know, I've been through it once. I know like the pressure and the stress and everything. I wasn't convinced. But then when they announced that the UK was hosting, I guess part of me was like, well, if there's even 1% chance of these two countries, like, you know, my mom and my adoptive type of mom countries would like come together, I would love to try and do that. And I think that's like one of the reasons. The second reason was obviously I've been when I was a child. It would be really fun to try it again as an adult and see what the experience would feel like. And also, I guess when I wrote the song, it felt like it could have Eurovision potential. Like, I don't think I necessarily wrote the song thinking, okay, this song has to be Eurovision. Like, yeah, we are actually working on, you know, adding a few things for the live version at the moment. So we are going to make it sound like the Eurovision sound. But I must admit that when I initially wrote it, I didn't say, okay, this is for Eurovision and Eurovision only. So yeah, UK was probably main reason. Also, my younger self telling me, hey, let's try this again. That was fun. And then, yeah, the other reason was just that I feel like it has a really powerful message. If you actually sit down and listen to it, the lyric video is going to come out next week or so. We're figuring that out tomorrow. But it just has like a really important message. And I feel like I find myself speaking about this with my friends a lot and with people in general. And I feel like we have these discussions about how we feel like we don't have time and how we worry about things and how much anxiety we feel towards the future. Yet we don't talk about it, if you know what I mean. Like, we don't talk about it publicly, and we don't go out on social media and we say, hey, I feel terrible, like this is what's going on in my life, someone help me. We don't do that. We talk like amongst ourselves and we talk to ourselves, and I know I do that, but we don't have the bigger conversation. So I thought that for me was, if I'm going to go to Eurovision, I'm going to go with a song and with a message that matters to me and that speaks about how I feel towards the world, basically. So there you go.
You do think about results and you want to win.
I mean, like I said, of course I would love to represent Romania, and that would be, you know, it would be an honor to do that. But my initial thought wasn't, I'm going here because, you know, I have to beat everyone and be better. It's like, I do believe that everyone's putting a lot of work. Like, people probably have no idea how much work is being put in at the moment with this. And I'm sure that everyone would say the same thing. Of course, everybody wants to win. But I guess for me, it's like, I want my message to win rather than me as like, I want to be number one because, well, I'm Andrade and I got to win. It's more than that. It's about getting the message to more people rather than me just putting a trophy in my trophy section. Like,
yeah, I'm understanding what you're saying. Yeah, it's about that. It's about spreading the message.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, yeah. So, guys, it's your time.
I think I have to scroll up for some questions that I've missed out on.
Let's see. I'm putting all back down.
Do you want to read them to me, or do you want me to like pick some out?
Oh, I wanted to read them to you.
Okay, sure, go for it.
But it's kind of complicated because people were so kind and made all these questions.
I mean, I can read them. I can see them now. So if you want me to like go through them and just respond, I can do that.
Yeah, I have a question from Enrique. Since your last participation in Junior Eurovision, who is Andrada now? Who changed? What changed since 2008?
Wow. I mean, 15 years, a lot has changed. I guess my priorities have changed. I guess me as a person, I have changed in a way of, when you're a child, you don't really know who you are. Like, you're shaped by your family and the people that you spend time with and what other people tell you should be. I think that now I don't care about what people say as much, in terms of I am willing to listen to what people have to say, but it doesn't mean that it defines me as a person. And I know that I am a kind person, and I know that I care about people, and I know that I'm loving, and I know that I always try my hardest. So I guess it's more about, I've matured a lot. I have grown a lot. I have met a lot of people that I feel like inspired by. Obviously, I guess, I mean, I don't look that much different. Like, I guess that's one thing that hasn't changed. If I pull up a picture of me in Junior Eurovision, you're like, yeah, it's the same person. But in terms of, I guess, mentally is how I've changed. And obviously experiences, like, you know, moving country changes you, and living alone changes you, and going through being best friends with people and then not speaking to them, and then just kind of drifting apart from some persons that maybe didn't align with who you are anymore, like your values or who you want to be moving forward. So I guess it's been a long process. And obviously, you know, Andrada in 2008 probably didn't know that much about life, and it's just very different. Like, you know, it's like asking anyone, oh, how are you different from who you were 15 years ago? It's a lot. So yes, I think I am a more grown up Andrada, but also a more stressed Andrada. So that's who I am now.
Okay, Enrique is also asking, which is your favorite Broadway musical?
My favorite Broadway musical. So I have a few. The one that I've seen 3 times and I cried every time is Come From Away. Really, really love that. I'm not sure if you know it, but it's just so good. I do like Wicked. I could see that you said about Wicked. I do like Wicked. I wouldn't say it's my favorite. I think just because you talk about it so much in university when you do musical theater, and everyone's, you know, belting out Defying Gravity, and I think it's a bit overrated at this point. It's still a really, really good one. I like 42nd Street, Come From Away. What are my favorite ones? Wait, I have like all of my theater tickets up here. Let me see. What else? I have Wicked over there. Les Mis, not my favorite. Book of Mormon, that was good. Matilda, yeah, that was fun. I feel like I'm missing out on like a big one. I mean, I do like Dear Evan Hansen. I haven't actually seen it on Broadway, but like in terms of the track and it, like the soundtrack, kills me. So good. Yeah, no, I could talk about musicals like for the rest of this interview, and I feel like that's not what I want to do. But yeah, no, I do. I think Come From Away is like a really, really good one. Yeah.
So Eric is also asking, Eurovision have the lowest rating on TV in Romania. What is missing? What have to change to make Romanian people attracted again to the contest?
I think Romanians have lost hope because we never win it. Because as we all know, sometimes it is about politics rather than the song, and that's quite clear. Like, it's not really a secret.
unfortunately.
I guess I don't really have an answer to this question because I haven't like watched like the ratings or like throughout the years to be able to tell you. But yeah, I guess it's just when it's like when you're doing something constantly and nothing, I mean, you don't win or nothing comes out of it, you think it's pointless. So every time people have to watch it and let's say they have to vote, they think, well, why am I even watching this? Because we're never going to win it. So I think maybe, I don't know, people just think there's no point in doing that. Also, I think last year there was like a scandal with the fact that our votes weren't included, weren't counted. So I think we didn't even want to participate this year. So
yeah, you're right.
That's probably why people are very against it now. It's because we were in a bit of a situation a couple of, I mean, last year. So, but yeah, I'm not the right person to ask. Maybe you should just call like the national broadcast people and just ask them because I don't have the answers. You can ask me anything you want about me, but I don't know about.
Yeah, but you were right. So you had, I think you had like 3 good songs 3 years in a row, and you never went really to the finals. So it's like hurtful, you know?
Yeah.
I think a really good song. I think Roxanne is the greatest song from Romania at Eurovision. And she didn't went through. It was like I was screaming like, how? She was great.
I think maybe that because I feel like when someone goes to Eurovision, you obviously identify as a country, like you identify with the person who goes there, and because obviously they're representing you. And when they don't go through, even though it has nothing to do with you personally, like you sitting at home watching it at TV, like nobody knows that you're feeling that way. But I think they take it personal because if someone's being sent there to represent you, then obviously you want them to do well. And when they don't do well, you feel like you've lost. Because I know, like, every time, don't get me wrong, I've been a big fan of Eurovision. I watch it every single year. I've watched it since I was a child. And whenever I support someone, I would be in front of the TV. And when the points come through, I'm like, oh my God, come on. Oh, I'm like, I can't watch this anymore. Turn it off. Like, I just really, really freak out. Like, I'm like a really big fan. Obviously, this year it's a bit different because I'm actually involved in it. But when I'm not involved in it, I remember when I was watching Eurovision and Heroes won, because that was the favorite song.
2015. Yeah.
I can't remember, but yeah. And obviously I wanted him to win. And I was just there like, oh my God, like what's going to happen? And they were counting the points and then they were coming through. And then like, I think someone like couldn't speak on the microphone. I was like, come on, just let me know. So yeah, I get very passionate. I know that people do get very passionate about Eurovision. So yes, I guess when you see your country not doing well so many years, not because we're not doing well, because we just, you know, again, politics and everything, we're not in the midst of everything. People get frustrated and then they just don't want to watch it. Like, what's the point in watch? It's like playing the lottery and not winning like many years in a row. So I guess people are fed up with it. Yeah.
It's a normal feeling. Yeah. So Andre is asking you, Andrade, what is your favorite entry from Romania? Like ever?
Favorite entry, I think I've said this before in an interview, but I think my favorite entry from Romania was Playing with Fire. I really liked that. I think the people who went that year, they did a really good job. The song was really hard to sing. I remember I was rooting for her to hit the high note because my God, that's a really high note. And I would always be like, oh, please do it, please do it. And then she would do it and I'd be like, yes, girl, yes, queen, you go. So I think that was my favorite performance. It was good. I think it came third or fourth, something like that. Yeah, it was, I really enjoyed it. But it was good.
I think it's Romania's best result, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I think so, potentially. But it was well deserved. I thought it was good.
Yeah. So Enrique is also asking, how do you describe yourself? What is your biggest dream? And why Eurovision now?
So,
and not...
I mean, I've already answered the Eurovision one, I guess. I hope I did, with why I chose to go to Eurovision now.
Yes.
What is my biggest dream? It might sound cliche, but I'm not gonna go for like, I want to be the most famous person in the world, because I feel like, you know, with growth comes realization, and that's not like, you know, my biggest dream in the world. I guess my biggest dream would be to just like feel content with who I am, and whatever I do, to feel proud of it, and to feel like I can do the things that I love without compromising, because that's what I've been struggling with in the last few years, like making decisions that would still align with who I am without having to compromise myself or my music to get what needs to be, you know, what needs to be achieved and done. So yeah, I guess I would just want to look back in my life and look back at myself and think, okay, like I've made myself proud. I'm proud of what I'm doing and what I stand for, and just feeling at peace. I guess that's the thing that right now I don't have. I don't think that I have peace at this moment, and I'm really looking forward for the time where I will stop chasing things and just relaxing for a minute and just feeling like peaceful. Yeah, and in terms of describing myself, I don't know, what would I put in my like bio that's like not my artistic bio? I would say dog obsessed, keep her away from sausage dogs, likes to cook, if you're hungry, come over, likes to play cards with her friends, overachiever, overthinker, anxious girl. Don't try and get me out for a run because I ain't coming. If you want to be gym buddies, let's go. If you want me to go running, sorry, make better friends. I don't know what else. I would just say, oh yeah, and also like I'm the clown between my group of friends. Like when my friends are having a bad day, they're just like, hey, can we come over? You know, you always make us laugh. And I'm like, yeah, sure. And then I'm on duty. I'm on clown duty most of the time. Yeah, I guess that's who I am now. So, yeah. Hope that answers your question regarding Andrada as a person rather than Andrada as the artist. So
I think was the right question, because I'm laughing myself right at this moment. So Enrique is also asking, besides you, of course, who would you like to see in Eurovision representing Romania?
I don't know, because I haven't seen any of the moments. We haven't had any, like we haven't met. So all of us, like we have a group chat together on WhatsApp, but we haven't actually met in person. So I think it would be really hard for me to tell. I haven't seen anyone staging. I haven't seen anyone, apart from hearing the songs, I haven't seen anything more than that. So it would be really hard for me to tell, oh, I think this person should do it or that person should do it. I would have to see a bit more. I would have to meet them. I would have to see what their is with everything. But I guess ultimately it's irrelevant what my opinion is. I know everyone loves having an opinion on the internet, but I just think the public's gonna vote anyway. So whatever I think is kind of irrelevant. Yeah.
So that's great that you talked about this, because Andre is asking, what are you thinking to show in the stage? So can you reveal some stage ideas? I don't know.
Do I want to though? I mean, I could, but do I want to? I'm not going to say too much, because why would I? I would rather, like, you know, obviously surprise people, but it will be a dramatic moment, you know. My stage name isn't drama. No, I'm joking. But I think it will be quite vulnerable. It will be an honest moment. It will have elements of just like honesty. And we haven't decided yet in terms of actual staging. We're still in discussions with the director. So he will be the one to actually make the big plan for the lighting and everything else. Obviously with the costumes, it's in prep, so I'm seeing my
I saw your story. Yeah,
so I'm going on Saturday to try it on, but in terms of everything else, it hasn't been fully put together. But all I can promise is it's gonna be very heartfelt, it's gonna be honest, it's gonna be vulnerable, it's gonna be dramatic.
Lifetime
yeah,
moment.
that's kind of what we want from it. Yeah.
So I have one last question from Alexandre. He's asking, what are your most singers that influenced you to make music like professionally? What your biggest inspiration? like musically?
Let me think. My biggest inspiration in terms of music, like writing music or performing.
I think writing, yeah.
Okay. I would say, I mean, I grew up listening to Celine Dion, and I love doing like impressions of Celine in my free time. So yeah, I loved it when you said that I sounded like her or something. I was like, yes, all of
Sounded
running
because
around the house pretending to be her. But I think in terms of writing, when it comes to ad libs and harmonies, I think Ariana Grande influenced me a lot because she stacks her vocals just like stacks and stacks and stacks, and like Jessie J, like she does really really good ad libs. So yes, I would say in terms of writing and like doing ad libs and harmonies, those are the ones that I got my inspiration from. But yeah, I think what Celine Dion. I was listening to Whitney as well. I was listening to like a bit of jazzy stuff like Diana Kroll, like she had like a really good album. But in terms of yeah, she's a queen, I know, like so yes, no, I think in a way I did develop my, the thing is, when you listen to so much music, because I know I got like, you know, when you get your Spotify Wrapped and it tells you to how much music you listen, it said that like, because my account was like set up when I was in the UK, so it told me you listen to like how many thousands of hours of music. That's 20% more than the average person in the UK. And I was like, yeah, I probably do. I listen to a lot of music. So I think when you listen to stuff, it has an impact on you without you even realizing.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't be able to tell you exactly who influenced me, but I'm pretty sure that if I heard a song, I would say, oh, okay, maybe I got that from there, or maybe that person sang something in a certain way that made me want to write that. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I guess part of it is just your personality and the way you are, but also just things that you listen to and you don't even realize that they have an impact. So yeah.
Good answer. Answering to Enrique, yes, it will be 100% televote.
Yes, it will be 100% televote this year. I think.
What do you think about it? Do you think it will, like, how do I say, benefits you or not?
I don't. Someone else asked me this in an interview, and I generally don't know what the answer is, because in a way you want the jury's opinion to vote to count, but also it's still the public who gets to decide in terms of like when you watch a show. It's still the public and the individual opinion that matters. So I guess in a way the jury can tell you from a like compositional point of view or from a lyrical point of view. They could say, okay, this song has a better structure. Like I think the jury is good to speak about that. But in terms of emotion, people will still get to choose for themselves whether they feel something about you or about your song, or if they don't. Like some people might get emotional about my song, and some people might say, well, I don't care about this. So I don't really know what to say about the whole jury public vote. I guess in a way it makes sense to have a jury because they can speak on the actual quality of the, let's say maybe instrumental, or the way you did your harmonies or your vocals or whatever it is. But in terms of feeling and in terms of just public opinion,
yeah,
it is the public that gets to have a say in it.
Let's see, we have to wait. So I don't know if you already answered to this, but Mauro is asking, do you think Eurovision is more than ever a way to present artists and spread music all over the world? What do you think about the importance of Eurovision in a career?
I do think it's important, of course. There are artists out there that made it big after they won. I guess sometimes it does happen. You would have to maybe win it or be somewhere in the favorites for it to actually matter moving forward. It is important because, first of all, you get to perform on such a big stage. You get to meet so many people. You have so many people watching. I mean, like someone said earlier, you know, you might not have the same numbers that you used to, but you still have people watching it. So, and also everything that comes with it, the prepping, the rehearsals, the stress. everything that you have to take care of, that shapes you into the artist that you want to be. So it's not just about the performance on the night. It's not just about that one song. It's about everything that comes with it, and the professionalism that you have to show when you're going through this. So I think it's important for your life in general, in terms of building you as a serious artist, and just being on top of it and knowing what you're doing and respecting people as well, because you have so many people around you, and there will be stress, there will be tears, there will be delays. And if you don't know how to behave and be nice to people and know how to control your emotions, it is very hard, because there are people out there that are great singers and great artists, but as humans, that's where the issues come in. So it does teach you a lot about knowing how to operate in situations of stress and just pressure, and
yeah. So the last question, I promise it will be this one. What was your favorite thing about London?
Oh, favorite thing about London. London has many sausage dogs. I will say that. There is one every corner, and I live for it. I lose it every single time I see a sausage dog. I'm like, oh my God. What's my favorite thing about London? I would say the way I feel with myself when I'm there, because it's the place where I went to, and we don't have enough time to debate and discuss how my first 2 weeks when I got there actually went, because that would be like a thriller or a movie. It was intense. It was a lot happening. And after those weeks, I was like, you know what? Anything that comes my way, I can deal with it. So I think the fact that I moved there by myself, and I had to do everything by myself and create the person that I probably am now, I would say that I owe part of who I am and part of my personality to London. So my favorite thing about London is me. I don't know, like, you know what I'm trying to say. It's who it made me become.
Yes.
And the musicals, obviously, the fact that you can go and see musicals and watch musicals, that's a big part of it. So yeah.
But I think you had an amazing answer, because you grew from that place, you know?
Yeah, no, I owe a lot to that, and I owe that to just putting myself in difficult and challenging situations and just dealing with them. So I think it's a really good feeling when you have to go through something that's quite hard, but you still manage to do it. And then you think, oh, you know, I'm proud of myself for doing this. I'm proud of myself for not running to my friends or my family to get it done. And it just really builds you and shapes you as a person when you get to do that. So I think, yeah, London was, and still is, obviously, a big part of who I am and who I want to, to be.
Okay. Andre, just this one. Andrada
Go for it. Honestly, I don't mind. If you have questions, put them in. If you have questions, go for it. I'm just gonna drink some water, and then we're good to go.
Okay.
Just drop them in. Just drop them in.
So thank you so much for your questions. I think there are some relevant ones. Andre is asking, after people knew that you will participate in national final of Romania, did you felt that impact in your career? It made you grow up in the numbers of views?
Yeah, I see it. So I do think that people obviously were interested to see who is this girl. Like, whoever didn't know who I was went to look it up, and I haven't looked into the statistic necessarily, but I did have people messaging me about it. Or obviously I'm doing lots of interviews in the next couple of weeks, and afterwards, and like TV shows. So I guess, yeah, there is more exposure in terms of people want to get to know you, and I also want people to get to know me behind the performance and behind the artist more as, Andrada, the human / versus Andrada, the singer, because it is very different. Like, on stage you're performing and you're putting on a show, but who you are is very different. But yes, I would say that people have been more invested. I feel like, where have the last 2 weeks gone? So much has happened. I completely lost track of everything. Like, I realized it's been 2 weeks since this whole craziness has started. And I guess I didn't expect it to hit me so fast, so hard. So yeah, there is a lot happening. There is a lot going on. I'm under a lot of stress.
Enrique is saying, I need you to win now. You have things that I personally love.
Oh. You should personally send a letter to whoever's in charge of Eurovision and just be like, listen, I saw her on Instagram Live. She said a few things. I liked it, and I think she should win. And I'm sure that will do the trick. 100%.
You don't need even to do a national final. Just grab.
I'm not even gonna show up. I'll just say that someone wants me to win, and therefore I shall.
Yeah, of course.
If only it worked that way. If only it worked that way. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. But thank you so much. I appreciate that a lot.
Mauro, she's already answered to this about the performance. She can tell us.
No, I mean, I did say a few things. I wasn't completely like, but I did say a few things about it. So
to rewatch. Andrade, one final message to your fans and to the Romanian public that will vote for you. Why people should vote for you?
Why should people vote for me? God, I hate that question because it makes you feel so like, oh my God, vote for me. I guess my message is, if you can relate to the song and if it touches you in any way, shape or form, then obviously I think you should vote for it. I don't think you should vote for it if you don't want to. Like, I'm not going to tell anyone, vote for me, even though you don't want to. I'm not going to show up at people's houses and force them to vote for me. But I would say I know that I would put a lot of work in. Like, if it came to it, and if I went to Liverpool, of course, that's another reason. Like, please vote for me because I would love to represent Romania in the UK. But I would say I know that I would work a lot. And I know that I would try my best to put on the best show and to put on the best representation. And I'm still working on, obviously, like I said, on the live version, and we're adding elements and we're listening to feedback and we're taking everyone's opinion into consideration as much as we can without completely murdering the song and making it chaotic. But yes, I think if you are anxious and stressed and overwhelmed and you have like existential crisis every 3 minutes, and if you're not really sure what the meaning of life is, and if you're not really sure where things are going or what even is life at this point, then you should vote for No Time for Me. I think those are my people, wherever you are.
Yeah. That's a relatable song. Andrade, thank you so much for this interview. I wasn't expecting this to be so funny, but
like I told you, I'm the clown. I'm the class clown.
I loved it. So thank you so much once more.
Thank you so much
to give us this interview. It was super fun. People, vote for Andrade on 11th?
11th of Feb. Yes, 11th of Feb. I am I'm actually number 2 in the competition, but I have number 3. Don't ask me how the numbers were assigned because it was chaos. So I'm number 3. Hopefully it's lucky number 3. And even if it isn't, you know what? I'm still gonna go there and try and slay. So we'll see. But
you're already slaying with the song,
I hope I'll make Celine Dion proud. I'll send her a performance.
Yes, I'll tag her.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, and good luck with all the reviews, and hope you have fun getting to know everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Bye.